Hello and welcome to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. We're going to talk all about profit first for real estate investing. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about profit first, and we're going to kind of do a discovery on what profit first really means. And our guest speaker today, David, is a full-time real estate investor that realized that he was doing a lot of deals. He's done like 850 deals throughout his career. So he was doing numbers. And the more numbers he did, he realized there was more money going out of his pocket. So that's when he created, and he wrote a book called Profit First for Real Estate Investing. He also has a podcast called Profit First for REI. And we're going to kind of deep dive on how real estate investors, because this channel is really about real estate investing and business ownership, what profit first is and how we should start looking at things differently so we can keep more money in our pocket. Welcome to the show, David.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Beau. I'm really excited to be here.
So let's just start. I know you're a very successful real estate investor. At some point you said, oh my God, I'm doing all these deals. I'm spinning my wheels and I'm not keeping the money I should be. And so how did you discover profit first? And then how did you roll out your company where you're a fractional, or you outsource fractional CFOs for different real estate businesses and other businesses?
Correct. Yep. So that journey is a long journey. So 10 years ago, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in college. That's where someone gave me that book. Of course, so it's like, okay, game over there. I'm not going to be thinking the way I did before. That's where I got into real estate then, and through all of that, hooked up with a company where we grew it from 5 deals to 25 deals a month. We were we were just rocking and rolling. It was awesome, right? And it sounds cool because at our highest point, we're doing 300 deals a year. But I got to sit in the finance seat, and I was there for 5 years, and one of the last seats I sat in was that finance seat. And I saw, as soon as I knew how much we were bringing in, I saw how much was going out, and it's like sometimes more is going out than what's coming in, and we're doing 25 deals, a month. It's like, why are we doing all this work if there's nothing to show for it at the end of the day? Which then, after going to masterminds, I believe I met you at a mastermind or an event, and I've gone to so many different events in the real estate world, and behind closed doors, I kept hearing hey, we are doing a lot of deals, but where's the money? I feel broke. I don't know what's happening. And I just kept hearing that all over the place, and how people would put the emphasis on revenue and not just on profit. Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. So it was that's where I got exposed to it. And during the course of that time, there's a lot of stuff that happened. I built a portfolio of my own, sold a lot of that off at that time where I was living in Northwest Indiana, moved to the Richmond, Virginia area at that time and started working with another investor. Asked him right away, show me your numbers, show me the books. I don't care about anything else that you tell me. The numbers don't lie. Now that I've got that knowledge in my head of what the numbers unlock, and I don't want to go into the same situation. I want to make sure if we're going to partner up, that you're okay. And so we dove in, and it was a mess. I couldn't even read what was there. So most investors are it's just that's not the priority. I get it. It's the deal flow. It's the getting the deals. So we dove in, cleaned it all up. It turns out he had sunk a lot of his own money into properties, had a ton of equity he didn't even know he had. So then we took some money, cashed out, and were able to put money back in his pocket that was really his, where he had been, I have no idea where my money's going. To me, that was the light bulb moment, because he came to me and said this whole process of just knowing where I stand and getting this money back in my pocket was really the turning point for my business, and it's changed my business and my life. And now he started paying himself as well, he hadn't paid himself from his flips up to that point, and he was doing some flip properties. So I just saw that complete change. That's what sparked why I do what I do today. There's so many people out there and investors that are doing deals but feel broke. And I didn't want that to keep happening because there's a simple system behind it. That's when I told one of my mentors, Gary Harper, that I was going to start a company just to help people know the numbers, know what the heck is going on in their business. And he told me, you should read the book Profit First. So I did. I downloaded the book that evening, took 10 pages of notes, and said this is a great framework that is for the entrepreneur. It's built for the entrepreneur to make sure they're not going broke and put more money in their pocket. And I'm like, I love this. That's when I started implementing it, and that's what, with the company and with the business that we do now is really helping those people not feel broke anymore and making and keeping more of that money in their pocket. That's when I reached out a year later to Mike McAllowitz, got the deal rights for Profit First for real estate investing, because I said Profit First is great, the original book, but real estate investing is its own animal. You're buying assets here. You're working with houses and like those types of assets and things. So I said, could I write the book for that? Because I've got a lot of experience. I've done over the 850 deals here. I want to be able to bring that knowledge and expertise to it and like let people know they don't have to stay where they are. So that's when I secured that, got the book launched last December 2021. So that's the story in a nutshell. Quick overview, 3-minute overview there of where I've come from to where I am now.
That's awesome. And you're right. I mean, most investors are deal junkies. They're just going out and doing deals, but they don't have any P&Ls. They don't have any of that. And so SimpleCFOsolutions.com is your website. And so your avatar client is a real estate investor, maybe from anywhere from somebody who's doing a couple deals a month to doing lots of deals a month that needs some guidance, right? Like they need to know. And then basically as a fractional CFO, you probably do an assessment of some sort in the beginning and go, okay, you're not doing any accounting. You're waiting to year end to get your books done. You're not taking money and paying yourself first and putting money aside, so you don't even know what's coming in, what's going out. And so you're setting up like principles like that. So automatically as a deal comes in and they may be a flip or something, instead of the money just going in the bank account and paying out expenses, you're being very specific about what, okay, you're getting 8% goes to this account, 10% goes to this account. This is your pay your tax later account. This is your, this is your actual take home pay. Is that how you set up a framework? Yeah. I mean, I know it's a lot more detailed
with every dollar that comes in the business. And the best way I could describe a fractional CFO, it's like a full-time CFO, but at a fraction of the cost and time. Because most people in business that are doing like 1 deal a month or 10 deals a month, like still can't even hire a full-time CFO. They're $250,000 a year and up. So that way I wanted to bring financial knowledge and we get a lot of personal finance education, but we don't get a lot of just grassroots, boots on the ground. Like, here's simple way to understand business money 101, because that's where like true financial freedom comes in. Like, you got to know what you need in order to hit that, and if your business is actually accomplishing that for you without getting muddied all over the place. A good way to describe it, if people have never heard of a CFO or don't know what it is, I like to describe like a hospital where you've got the nurse who's the bookkeeper, checking up on you every day, making sure everything's in order, making sure your chart is good, like all that, the ticky-tack stuff. Then you've got the CPA, who's usually like the doctor or the person on staff at the hospital that's making sure that one area, like that you're getting the general help from the tax perspective. But the problem with both of that is they both work for the hospital, and the hospital in this case is the IRS. Like they're making sure you're in compliance. A CFO is like a private doctor that comes in and says, I want to test where you are right now so we know what is specifically going to help you. How are we going to make you healthy, like in your business, and not just because the IRS says you have to do it one way. It's more like, how are we going to make actual business decisions that put more money in your pocket or help you not spend where you shouldn't or spend where you should to increase your revenue. So that's more of like what a CFO is. Another analogy, CFO is like a GPS or the dashboard. The CPA bookkeepers are like the rear view mirror. That they're all concerned about what's happened in the past. The CFO is concerned about like, let's make sure your future is bright and that we're getting to the destination you want to get to. So that's what we do with our clients. We set it up that way. We're very intentional, like you said, with every dollar that comes in the door, putting it to work, whether it be for the owner or for the business and reinvesting, like whatever it might be. We're just making sure that the investor is very intentional now and helping them build their savvy as a business owner. Because as a business owner, you need to know those numbers. You need to know where you're going. So that's kind of how we set it up overall. And of course, we implement profit first to the nth degree to make sure that they're actually getting profit and making it a habit inside their business.
You're listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, Beau here, host of the Investor Financing Podcast. Are you a lender, real estate professional, or vendor that provides products or services within the real estate investing and business owner space? We are offering a few sponsorship opportunities to get in front of a highly targeted audience If you're interested, please click the link below for further information. We look forward to talking with you. Thanks. Make it a great day. What are one or two hacks that you think most real estate investors aren't doing and they should be doing?
So most investors, one of the biggest mistakes I see, this goes along with the hack, is that they have one big bank account where everything goes in and everything goes out of, and it's like tossing a cash salad all the time. It's like money goes in, I see it in my bank account. Oh, there's a marketing campaign. Yes, I have $3,000. Let's run it. Or I have $10,000. Let's get it out the door. So it's just always flowing through, and you have no idea what money's in there, and you have no control over what's inside that one account. You don't know if, can I take some money out for myself? Or I just got an IRS tax bill. Do I have the money in here? Can I use this money for that? Or shoot, I don't have enough. It just creates a lot of anxiety around the owner because he's like, I'm not going to dive into QuickBooks. I'm not going to dive in and see where all this money really is, or understand it and be able to pull all this up. So one of the hacks is profit first, is setting up different accounts, making sure that you separate out your one account into multiple accounts that have specific purposes for your business. And that's going more into the profit first system. But it is kind of like that hack to make sure that what the money is for versus it all coming in, especially in real estate, because we also get private lender money and OPM, other people's money. And if we're getting private money in all the time, then we have to make sure that we're not mingling that money with our operational money and accidentally using it for our operations. And then it's like, oh, shoot, the project is over budget and we don't have enough money from the lender. Where are we going to pull this money from? It's just helping you get control over the finances to know, is there an issue coming down the pipeline because we don't have enough money in this specific account? Or if you're not paying yourself, making sure we have accounts for that. So there's one hack. And I always tell people on podcasts, if you don't do anything else but from this podcast, is you open up one new bank account, call it profit, and transfer 1%. The whole profit first system is about creating the wealth habits of wealthy people. I want you to get in the habit of every time a dollar comes in your business, you at least set aside a portion of it for profit, even if it's as little as 1%, because we're just trying to build the muscle. We're trying to build the habit. So that's what I want you to do. There's another quick hack if you're like, I need to pick up the book and get the whole system, or whatever it might be. Do that at least to start building the habit.
That's so good. I can tell you firsthand, I have one Series LLC bank account, and everything's going into this one account mostly for my rentals.
Yep.
And it's I get on most of them, I have one property manager, and she sends her statement, and it's the statements are so confusing to begin with. I hate looking at spreadsheets. Yes. Even though I'm a lender for a living as my core business. It's just that's not what I like to do.
Right.
And it's it would be fantastic to have somebody that goes through and says, okay, this property after expenses netted you, this after your debt service and everything. And we just did a clear snapshot. So I could actually see which properties are actually performing as rentals the way they should be. And I'm not doing it. And to be honest with you, it's something I don't enjoy. I just get my statements and I see what's the gross amount between the couple properties in this one management account. Then I just bought another property that's not being managed, and I'm using that bank account too. So I'm creating a huge mess.
Yeah.
And I'm not right. Why don't I just take 1% or 10% of the gross rents that come in and put it into account automatically every month? So at least at the end of the year, there's X amount of dollars sitting there. That's profit.
Exactly. Yep. It's your profit. It's going to be there for you, and that's what most people. You get into business, but you don't get into business to create this cash-eating monster of a business where you're like, what the heck is going on? I have no idea. Why am I working all these hours? Why did I trade 40 hours working for someone else, 80 hours for me, and I'm seeing less benefit than when I was working for someone else? So it's at least start that habit. That's where if you start like you do, what you just said right there, Beau, with setting up that account and making sure that you have that going in place, that's great for the entrepreneur to at least start on this journey. Then if you work with someone like us, like we've dove in with people who have rental portfolios and properties and be able to see these are what like you're making on different properties, and we've been able to like refinance different properties or like help get them a better interest rate with a different property. So it's like it went from cash flow negative to cash flow positive, or they sold off their bad properties, or they knew which ones were really good. It's like that gives you a lot more leverage and power to know if you've got equity tied up, or if something's underperforming, or if something's overperforming. You're like, can I go out there and find another one just like this? And that's where we more dive in with people to help them with that process. But what you said is a perfect first step for the entrepreneur, because you have to have zero background in finance and real estate and anything. You just have to be able to set up a bank account and have the discipline and habit to put money aside from everything that comes in and build that habit muscle over and over and over again.
Yeah, I totally don't have that muscle, and it pisses me off. I've been in lending for 24 years. It's like if I would have just simply taken 10% of every check that came in from when I closed a loan or closed a real estate sales, I was a broker too, and just put it aside. And that's hey, we're not touching this. This is just going to grow.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shame. I would probably say 90% or greater don't do these simple principles, and that's why people like yourself are here, because we need
Exactly, because I'm like telling people, if you start it now, think of yourself 20 years from now. If you've built that habit a little bit over time and you've increased what you're bringing in, now you're getting a percentage of a greater amount now. Like you've built the habit wherever you are currently, and if you keep growing and you keep scaling, now you're growing healthy, in a healthy fashion. And that's where on my podcast that you mentioned, like I had Pace Borby on there, and he said, if I would have started this when I first started real estate investing, I'd have $5 million more in my accounts right now. Like he had calculated it at one point when I had it on there with him at his thing, but he loves profit first because he knows, like, if I would have started this from day one, I would have built that habit, and I would have had more physical cash right now because I'm helping more people and this is what we're doing. So that's why I'm like, I don't care if you're at 0 deals right now and you're like, well, this doesn't apply to me. How can I have profit if I'm still in my W-2 job, or I'm still working, or I'm, and I tell people, I'm not trying to do something for real estate. I'm trying to instill something inside of you as a human, building a habit that's going to help you in your personal finances. Because if you don't have a business LLC or a business set up yet, go do this in your personal finances. Go up and set another account and just start transferring a certain percentage of your income into it. Maybe that's to jump into real estate or to be able to retire from your W-2. Like you could set that account up for something. And if you are in real estate and you're doing a lot of deals, or you've been in for a while like Beau has, it's like start now so you don't miss out on it for the rest of your career. So that way you could start building it up right now, because I literally have had people where I've been talking with them. I've been doing this long enough now. I'm seeing, just the fruits of it, where like someone set it up a couple years ago, just the one account. And because they're doing so much volume, they forgot about that profit account. And then like 2 years later came to me and said, yeah, there's like 6 figures in there. And my wife just told me, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that account. Like that's not going to happen to everyone. But I would much rather have that story from someone than like, I didn't set this up at that beginning and now I have nothing to show for it. It's like, oh shoot. And it's so logical, but that's what you say, like, this is why people like me are out there now. I'm like, yes, because we've gotten so much bad information before, or boring on the financial side. There's no one out there telling what to do with the money as it actually comes in. There's a lot of CPAs and lots of bookkeepers that want to tell you, here's the how you do this and like how you keep this in line, but you don't care about that. You care about, how do I put more money in my pocket? That's what the owners and the entrepreneurs care about. And it's like, this is the system to make sure that you set up that will make you wealthy. Like if you lose everything, but you have this habit, you know that you've got something inside of you that will help you build it back. Not just like, oh, I could go out there and do more deals, but I can go out there, do more deals, and make sure I'm keeping more of it, and I'm smarter on this next round. So it's like just getting that inside of you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, if you just set up these principles, this account, it hits, all of a sudden you got $35,000. Then you take that and you go buy a $100,000 duplex. That's gonna, gross $1,800 a month in gross rent, and after your mortgage and everything, you're making $1,000 a month or $900 a month for the rest of your life, right? Just because, and you just squeeze money that was just gonna go evaporate, and you'd spend it on stuff that you don't even know what you're spending it on. Exactly. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like you could literally, most people could probably literally at least buy one extra property a year by just setting up principles like this, right?
Exactly.
And how much faster do you get to your financial freedom if you just do some simple things that it seems painful, but what you guys do is you take the pain out of it, because it's like you're just giving us the plan. Like, hey, let's look at you, financial snapshot of what's going on, and just getting that strategic advice from somebody outside looking in, understanding what's going on. Because I often do, like for my lending business, when I was doing residential loans for non-investors, now I just focus on commercial investment. But I would always do these assessments. I'd be like, listen, you have like $100,000 of credit card debt and all this stuff, and you're paying it, I'd add up, they're paying, $3,000 a month on that. And I go, hey, we could just refinance, do a cash out refinance, pay off all your debts. And, you're saving now, you're going to be saving $2,500 a month. You just, by just being strategic, you're saving $2,500 a month. Then you take that $2,500, you don't go out and get steak and lobster every night. You put it somewhere where it's going to grow,
right.
And then you can invest it into future real estate deals. I mean, it's just like, yeah, we all need this. It's like, it's scary that people making six figures a year have no money left over. I don't know what.
It's seven figures.
Yeah.
I've had over 270 calls myself over the last few years before I got myself out of that seat, where with real estate investors who are literally making $2, $3, $4 million a year and paying themselves like $30,000 a year, and are like struggling personally. Their business is, like upside down. So it happens at seven figures, six figures. It's because we have bad habits that we bring over from our personal life into business, and we think that just because we stopped our W-2 job and started a business that we're going to somehow magically become this awesome business owner. It's like, this is a journey that we have to go on, and there's questions that you don't even know to ask yet that someone needs to be there to guide you to become the six-figure, seven-figure entrepreneur that is also not trying to just beat their head against the wall every single day. And I love what you said too, Beau, about the financial freedom, because so many people think financial freedom is revenue and income. Financial freedom is not revenue and income. It is profit. It is what you keep at the end of the day. That's what financial freedom is. Financial freedom is making sure you're not making $1 million a year. It's that you're keeping $1 million a year. That way you could go out and do what you wanted to do. Why did you start the business? It wasn't to do more deals. It wasn't just to beat your chest at a mastermind or do anything like that. It was to say, I wanted to spend more time with my family. Guess what? I get to now. One of our clients just called me last week and said he has completed enough deals this year that he's fully funded the rest of the year for himself personally and for his business, meaning he could take off the next 6 months, not do another deal, and start back up in 2023 if he wanted to, and it wouldn't affect him at all because he's funded his accounts that much this year with the deals he's done because of this system. He's been working with us for 2 or 3 years now, so like he's built that muscle, and he's like, now he's addicted to it. Now he's like, I've got the account set up, I do this, I'm intentional with every dollar, and 3 years later, it's something like that because he's got a family and kids, and they're young right now, and he's very big on, I only have 18 summers with them. I want to spend summers with them. I want to give them experiences. I want them to know they have a dad that loves them and has time for them. So like he has made sure with his business that like now, it's not even the end of June when we're recording this podcast right now. So like for the first 5 months of the year, he built that for this, for this year, and then the last 7 months he could do what he wanted. Of course, he's still going to do deals. He's got other team members. He's got people in place. But now it's all icing on the cake. It can all go towards either just building more for himself or giving it and like whatever he wants to do with that money now. That's financial freedom. That's what everyone's looking for when they have a business, is to be able to say, shoot, I just did 5 months, and I just got the whole year covered. Like, what do I want to do now? Do I want to do more deals, or do I want to take a whole month off? Like, now you have the option for that. But so many people are stuck in their rat race of just like, I've got to do the next deal. I've got to do the next deal. I've got to do the next deal. They can never think that way, and they're just stuck in the busyness, the day-to-day grind, and it's like, oh my gosh, we got to get your mindset out of that so you can think about what is really important to you as the owner and the investor.
Yeah, you got to be strategic, and none of us are being strategic. We need to think about our next steps. Like, what are our steps to get to the other side of the road? What are the next steps we need to take? And that's what your company does. So people, let's say somebody is listening to this right now, they could go to SimpleCFOsolutions.com. Probably an intake form if they're interested in do they have like a discovery call? Is that how it works first?
Yeah. And we just bought SimpleCFO.com too, so you don't even have to put the solutions in there anymore. That was awesome. So we got SimpleCFO.com you could go to, or SimpleCFOsolutions.com, same website. And on there, schedule a call. It's no obligation. We just look at what you have currently. We tell you what it takes to work with us, and if we can help you, great. If we've got someone connected, though, if you just need a bookkeeper or CPA and you don't need like the CFO service right away, we've even got connections to those other parts of the financial puzzle. So that way you can at least get the basis laid. But that's how you work with us. If you go to that site too, that's where you can find Profit First for Real Estate Investing, the book, my podcast. It's the one-stop shop. SimpleCFOsolutions.com.
Yeah. I'm gonna start with your book because this is like, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's like we should all be doing this stuff, and you're gonna get to the promised land a lot quicker if you just set up some strategic, simple things, like just start with a bank account where, hey, the gross rent comes in, I'm taking this little sliver of the pie, and I'm gonna forget about it. And over time, that's another property, and it's gonna compound, and then my property is gonna go up in value. Then I'm gonna harvest the equity, and then I'm gonna always be paying myself a little bit first. And so I'm interested more to dive into the framework. So start with the book. I'll listen to your podcast. Appreciate your time. And I can tell you're very passionate about this and want to help more and more real estate investors. And quite frankly, we all need it. So it's a great service what you're doing. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. I'm just trying to spread this message out there so more people can be like that guy and like do what they want with their business and not have it control them.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. I'm bringing on tons of great guests. And obviously, we never talked about Profit First, but this is like the grassroots of financial freedom right here. This is like the most important thing that we're all, I shouldn't say all, but 99% of us are not doing this. And it's like the simple low-hanging fruit that if we just follow this recipe over time, it's going to make a huge difference. If you're going to forget about it. I mean, last thing I want to say is I have so many softwares and programs that I pay reoccurring monthly. I'm not even using these softwares, right? Like I could go and turn them off right now and save $1,000 a month, right? Like there's these things in life we need to be doing that are going to get you your results a lot quicker. That $1,000 a month could be my profit right now.
I was going to say, that's the magic thing about expenses. You cut an expense, it goes straight to your bottom line. When you bring in new revenue, it doesn't go straight to your bottom line. That's the magic of that as well, too. I could go off on that for a long time, but I love your example right there, because that could be $12,000 literally inside your pocket at the end of this year.
Incredible. Guys, I hope you enjoy this. Let's think profit first from now on. Let's make a big impact on all of our lives, and so we could spend more time doing what we want to do, like sitting on the beach and enjoying the summer versus sitting at your desk working too hard. So, see you on the next episode, everyone.